Greetings everyone, welcome to Ansarkari. So in this video we'll continue dealing with the UPSC questions. So let's start with the first question. Let A, B and C represent distinct non-zero digits. So basically A, B and C are the letters which denote non-zero digits, which means the digits can be anything like from 1 to 9 but 0. Suppose x is the sum of all possible 3-digit numbers. So if we make all the possible 3-digit numbers from these 3 digits formed by ABC without repetition, and if we add these, then we are supposing that x is called the sum of all these 3-digit possible numbers. Now they have said us to consider two such statements. The first one says the 4-digit least value of x is 1332. So here we are talking about least value. We'll focus upon this fact once again. So the second statement says the 3-digit greatest value of x is 888. Focusing upon the first part, see they're asking us the least value. We'll not focus upon the 4-digit part here because obviously this number is of 4-digit. But the 4-digit least value of x, which means for x to have least value, we need to have the values of A, B and C as 1, 2 and 3 because these will be the smallest from 1 till 9. If we take any other numbers, for example, we take 2, 7 and 8 because there is no such rule, right, of consecutive. But if we take these three numbers here for A, B and C, then the sum that we'll get will obviously be great and it won't be the least. But here we need to check for the least. So we'll take the numbers as 1, 2 and 3 here. And to form the all the possible numbers from these 3 digits, we can check from the permutation as well. For example, here we have 3 options like either 1 or 2 or 3. Then here we'll be left with 2 options and here we'll be left with 1 option. So there will be totally 6 such numbers. So let us write these numbers. 1, 2 and 3 will be the first number. Then we'll have 1, 3 and 2. Then we'll have 2, 1, 3 and then we'll have 2, 3, 1. Then if we take 3 as the hundreds place, then we'll have 2 and 1 and 1 and 2. So these will be the 6 possible ways of arranging these 3 numbers. Then after adding these, like first if we add 3, 2, 3, 1, 1 and 2, what we'll get is 12. So 1 will be carry here, then again we'll have 12 and then 13. So after adding again we'll have carry here, then again 12 plus 1 will be 13. So the sum that we are getting here is 1332, which means that the first statement is correct. The 4-digit least value of x is 1332. And see here the possibilities that we have just now created, there is no repetition that occurs within them. For example, we cannot take a number 1, 1, 2 because here 1 is repeating 2 times. So this is not possible. One thing is this that we need to take care of, and the another is that A, B, C represent distinct non-zero digits. Okay. Now the next statement says the 3-digit greatest value of x is 888. See, focusing upon this statement, it says 3-digit greatest value of x. Now the greatest value of x can according to may be formed by the numbers 7, 8 and 9 if you take these numbers. And obviously just by looking at this, for example, the minimum value is 1332, like the least value. So greatest will obviously be bigger than this particular number. And here it is 888. So it is obviously not possible. So this statement will be wrong. And the only correct statement here is the first statement. So the approach we took in this particular question is we just focused upon the numbers, the real examples that we can put in place of A, B and C, and then we checked because it is talking about the sum and we can find out the sum only by putting the values of the variables or perhaps the letters here. Now the next question says consider the following statements in respect of two natural numbers p and q. So here we have two natural numbers, that is p and q. They have told us that they are natural numbers such that p is a prime number and q is a composite number. So prime numbers, we all know what are prime numbers. Prime numbers are those numbers which do not occur in any table except for their own and the table of 1 obviously. And q, that is here they are referring to the composite numbers. Composite numbers are all the other numbers except for prime numbers. Now they have told us to consider all these statements and then they ask कि इनमें से कौन से correct है, which of the above statements are correct. The first statement says P multiplied by Q can be an odd number. See, P here is a prime number and Q here is a composite number. So we need to take care of these two things while we try to guess the numbers or perhaps the examples. So the first statement says P multiplied by Q can be an odd number. See, here we are talking about can be. It does not say is always an odd number. तो हमें बस we need to find out just those such examples by which we can say that yes, such possibilities can occur. Right? They are not mentioning that it should be odd. They are mentioning that there are such numbers which are odd. So the focusing upon the statement 1 first. P multiplied by Q can be an odd number. So P here, if we take a prime number, see, even number into an odd number. For example, 2 is a prime number. And if I multiply any composite number, see 2 is a prime number. And if I multiply any composite number here with 2, what will happen is the result I'll get will obviously be even in all cases. So that is okay. But apart from that, they're asking that can it be an odd number? So for example, here I take a number 3 and this is a prime number, and if I multiply this by a composite number which is 15, after multiplying I'll get the result as 45. See, they are asking P multiplied by Q can be an odd number, and 45 is obviously an odd number. So there can be such possibilities. So P multiplied by Q can be an odd number. So this is true. The first statement here is true. The second statement says Q divided by P can be a prime number. So Q, any composite number we need here, Q divided by P, P needs to be a prime number. So the result should be a prime number. So maybe I can take a prime number as 5 and then that I can try to fit such values here so that P will be prime and Q will be composite. Here I can write 15 and here I can write 3. 3 is a prime number and 15 is a composite number. And after cancelling out the result that we'll get will be a prime number. So we can take such examples on our own, and we need to take such examples in this case which support these statements. If these statements say that is always true or something like that, then we go in an opposite fashion. Then we try to find out such examples which can prove the statements wrong, as we have seen in the previous questions as well. So the statement 2 says, again we have discussed this, so this statement will also be correct. Then focusing upon the third statement, P plus Q can be a prime number. Now addition का case आ जाता है हमारे पास यहाँ पे. So P plus Q can be a prime number. Now obviously suppose we need a prime number. तो जो हमें चाहिए वो हम पहले लिख लेते हैं. Then if suppose I take a prime number as 5, then I need to add 12 here. Now obviously I'll take a prime number first and then I'll try to select, like, first I'll draw upon the result. I'll take an example of the result itself, what I need. Then I'll choose a prime number. The reason for this is getting a composite number. There's a greater chance of getting a composite number than getting a prime number here. Right? So first I'll take the prime number and then we can just find out whatever the number here is and we can try to bring in here a composite number so that we can check. So this prime number, that is 5, plus a composite number, that is 12 here, gives us the sum 17, and 17 is again a prime number. So obviously this statement is also true. So the question that says which of the above statements are correct? 1, 2 and 3, all 3 statements here are correct. The next question here says, let P, P, Q, Q and R, R be two-digit numbers where P is smaller than Q, Q is smaller than R. If P, P plus Q, Q plus R, R is equal to TT0, where TT0 is a three-digit number ending with 0, consider the following statements. So these are the two statements given here, and then we need to find out that which of these statements is or are correct. Now P, P, Q, Q and R, R are some numbers. There are three numbers which obviously occur in the 11th table because they have the same digits, like the units place and the tens place has the same digit. Now the question says that PP plus QQ plus RR must give us TT0. This is what the question says. So before moving on, we also need to focus upon the carry part. And then we'll focus upon the various digits or various numbers that we can have in place of P, Q and R, because that is what these statements are asking. So P plus Q plus R can either be equal to 10 or it can be equal to 20. It cannot be 30 because the maximum values that we can take is 7, 8 and 9. Right? These values need to be different. And maximum values जो हम ले सकते हैं they can be 7, 8 and 9. And after adding these, we'll get 24. तो ये maximum value आ रही है. Which means इससे ज़्यादा exceed नहीं हो सकती. So 30 cannot be the sum. So either the sum can be 10 or it can be 20. Now obviously we need to get 0 here, that is why we decided upon 10 and 20. So we'll just write here P, Q and R. So first we'll start with the least value for P. The reason is given here. It says P is the smallest. Then we have Q and Q should also be smaller than R. यानी कि इनमें से जो greatest value होगी वो हमेशा R की होनी चाहिए. चाहे हम 1 2 3 लें या चाहे हम 9 7 और कुछ भी ऐसा नंबर ले जो कि फिट हो रहा है. That we'll discuss upon here when we'll create the options. But it should be always be greater than. R should always be greater than Q and P, and Q should be greater than P. So P if I take here 1, Q I take here as 2, then I need to take R as 7 for the sum to be equal to 10. तो अभी हम 10 के sum की बात करते हैं सबसे पहले. Then if I again take P's value as 1, Q I take as 3, then R I have to take as 6. Again if I take P as 1, then Q I take as 4, R I will have to take as 5. Only then will be the sum equal to 10. अब obviously here even order matters, तो हम reverse नहीं कर सकते because P needs to be the smallest. Now till now we talked about when the sum is equal to 10, but if we need the sum as 20, we cannot write 1 as a value of P. The reason being, so right now we are considering of the sum as 10, but the sum can also be 20. So in case of 20 हम यहाँ 1 नहीं लिख सकते. The reason being, if we write 1 here, तो maximum values Q और R की क्या हो जाएगी 9 और 8. लेकिन जो इनका sum that won't be equal to 20. So obviously we cannot write this here. So we'll start with the value as 2. अब 2 के केस में पहले हम 10 का सम बनाने का ट्राई करते हैं. अगर 10 का सम बनाना है तो यहाँ 3 हो जाएगा, then here we'll have 5. Moving on to the case of 20. For 20, if I write P is equal to 2, if I write P is equal to 2, 20 बनाने के लिए, then I'll have to add 18 here. And to make up 18, I need two such numbers. So 18 होता है 9 and 9. तो obviously ये repeat नहीं हो सकते. So again this will be not a good option. Then we'll move on to the case of 3 here. कि अगर 3 यहाँ पे हो. अब 10 का केस तो हट ही चुका है. 10 का केस we have discussed here only. Now the numbers that will form will be equal to, the sum will be equal to 20. So to make up 3 here, we need here 17. And to make up 17, we can have 8 plus 9. So एक तो ये हो गया 8 plus 9. Then what can be the other options if we think of? They can be 4 plus 16. But if I write 4 here, and then we need the sum as 16 now. The numbers here will be 7 and 9. So if we add these, we'll get 16. Then if we take the value of P as 5, the sum of Q and R should be equal to 15 here to make up the total sum as 20. And 15 is equal to 9 plus 6. So here we'll have 6 and 9. And if I write here 6, then we need to make up the sum as 14. Now if I write 6 here, then to make up the sum here as 14, I can write here 6 cannot be used again, so 6 और वो तो हो ही नहीं सकता. Then the other option that we can have is the sum of 9 and 5. But again यहाँ पे if we write 5, it will be smaller than 6. जबकि हमें Q की जो value है वो बड़ी होनी चाहिए P से. Obviously, right? So again now these are the only options that we have created till now and which can be created for the sum to be equal to 10 or 20. Now see, if the sum here becomes 20 and if I carry here 2, then obviously the sum of this will also be 20 and 20 plus 2 will be equal to 22. So we'll have 220. We'll have the sum in this format. एंड अगर 10 की बात करते हैं तो इफ द सम ऑफ पी क्यू एंड आर इज इक्वल टू 10, यहाँ 0 देन यहाँ पे कैरी 1 एंड पी क्यू आर इज इक्वल टू 10, जैसे यहाँ पे सम 10 आया था +1 तो वो 11 हो जाएगा. सो इट विल बी इन दिस फॉर्मेट. तो आंसर की टेंशन नहीं लेनी है, वो TT0 की फॉर्मेट में ही आएगा. बट दीज आर द कंडीशंस दैट वी हैव फॉर्म्ड टिल नाउ. नाउ द स्टेटमेंट है द नंबर ऑफ पॉसिबल वैल्यूज ऑफ P इज, तो P की पॉसिबल वैल्यूज हो जाएंगी एक तो 1, तो P हैज पॉसिबल वैल्यूज 1 2 3 4 एंड 5. तो यानी P की पॉसिबल वैल्यूज है 5. देन Q का अगर हम काउंट करें तो वील हैव 2, we'll just write here 2 3 4. इसमें repetition नहीं होगा 7 and 8. So we have these values. So count करें तो we have 6 values here. And R की साथ साथ चेक कर लेते हैं. We'll have 1 2 3 4. तो 5 6 7 and 9. So we'll have 4 such values of R here. So now they're asking the possible values of P is equal to 5. तो first statement correct है and Q की जो है वो 6 है. So both these statements are correct. So the answer will be equal to option C, that is both 1 and 2 statement is correct. Thank you.